Do you also feel that there are more listings in your neighborhood, more for sale signs? Do you feel that the market actually virtually picked up, which means more listings, but not much is selling? And in meanwhile, as we're discussing that, there are two different opinions, I would say, and we're literally on the train tracks right now deciding where we're gonna go, at least in my comments on the channel. Because some people agree with me, but they have their own opinion, and the others are saying, stop over exaggerating. It is not as bad as you are claiming it to be. However, we have seen a surge in listings, and yes, that's the spring market. We see it every year, which is a natural course of a real estate market. It has been for decades, right? We know the beginning of the year and the startup of the spring market. However, the only thing we have experienced so far was a surge and increase in listings, right? But the actual activity has not picked up that much at all. In fact, we're breaking every record in Canada for the slowest month-over-month market ever. Now, I have some questions that I have received and I would like to answer in my best ability. So let's get right into it. Why are so many homes for sale and nobody is buying? Well, look, we'll get deeper into that, and I have more segments that I would love to touch on when it comes to the affordability and income, because people are not assessing the situation correctly, in my opinion, right? Because the buying power is your income, it's your money. Like, what can you actually do in order to set aside an X amount of dollars in order to buy it, right? So it's very simple. So question number one, what's really happening in the housing market? So the answer, you're seeing a flood of listings across Brampton, Vaughan, Mississauga, Toronto, and all the areas, including even the north. I talked about the cottage country. It's flooded with listings. We obviously know that the condo market is completely upside down. In fact, condo market is paralyzed, right? Because the amount of assignment listings and the amount of units, it is just incredible, right? So why the surge? Well, rate renewals, pre-con competition, and price fatigue. Obviously, you know, when you get into the price fatigue, it's basically people cannot afford the tag price. Is as simple as that, right? And if people cannot afford it, automatically you will have a stagnant market. All right, so question number two, are homes becoming more affordable? So I had this question, somebody asked this particular question, and thank you for this question. Are they becoming more affordable? Because we have seen from the peak of 2022 that the actual prices have been feathering down, and people are asking now, well, are they becoming more affordable now? Well, not really, technically, right? So here's what it takes down to afford a house in Toronto. So I took a graph, and it says in order to buy a semi-detached house in Toronto, you will need an income of about $224,000. This is a household income or family income. You slice this however you want. Now the question is, how many people actually make these kinds of figures, right? And on top of that, I have an experience lately. I've been in a park with my kids and all of that stuff. We had a picnic, and a person walked up to me and said, listen, I know you're from the channel, like you're speaking the truth, because I feel it on my own skin. I was obviously thankful and grateful, getting to know this particular gentleman. But he's saying, like, listen, I'm in flooring business and all of that stuff, and from September of 2025, there are no big projects coming up, right? Up to now, he's been fairly busy, not as busy as in the peak, but from September onwards, he's like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I'll be able to make, $20,000 in 2026 based on the projects that he has received. So that's just something to think about, right? And he is saying like, look, like I just have to like make flyers and distribute them, like whoever wants like laminated flooring in their basements or whatever. So I don't know if it's true. I think it is, because there's no reason why somebody would walk up to me, introduce themselves, and just say something like that, right? So I do believe every word that the gentleman said, and I think this is true. But getting back, so in order to afford, it's $224,000 for a semi. Now, for a detached home, you need close to $300,000 in order to buy an average Toronto detached home, right? And then we get into a condo apartment, which you need roughly around $150,000 of household income. Now, just breaking down the numbers, there are so many things associated when it comes to this number, right? You're buying a condo, now you have to deal with other things like, maintenance fees and all of that stuff that might decrease the evaluation of your mortgage, right? So it's crazy out there, right? But some people unfortunately don't think so. Now, there's another segment that a lot of people are not talking about that I would love to touch on. And it was a question: what if you just earn more money, right? So people say, well, get another job, do something else. If you own your own company, just produce more. Technically, they're right? But it doesn't work like that, right? Because a day has 24 hours and there's only so much you can do before you go nuts or before everything falls apart, right? Because there's also that mental health. If you have a family, obviously you got to deal with kids, you got to deal with the logistics when it comes to their school and all that stuff, right? So if both partners are employed and working, which most people are, then what's left? I mean, like, you're just like an Uber driver for your kids to go to school, and then you get back home or to another job, right? Whether it's online or whatever. So that doesn't work. If you own your own company, it doesn't work either, because there's only so much you could do to acquire more business. Some people might say, well, it is easier because, look, if I have my own company, I can grow this way or that way or whatever. But it's not necessarily the case, right? So now check this out. In Canada, once your family income crosses $90,000, so this is the breaking point here, right? So we need to earn more to buy the average. Think about this for a second. We have to earn more to buy the average. However, if you pass $90,000 as a family income, okay? So this is what happens. You get 44% less of your child benefit if you have kids, 100% dental coverage. You lose the dental coverage, right? Because now the government of Canada is subsidizing some of the dental work for majority of Canadians. But if you make more than 90 grand, then that's off the table. 100% of workers benefit, all GST and HST tax credits, hydro rebates, subsidized housing access, low income transit passes, right? Now, let's get into the 90,000 plus. So a child benefit clawback of 45%, right? If you make more than $90,000. So when I spoke to some people, like even back in the day, like the mortgages were qualified, and they were including child benefit. Like I was actually surprised, right? Like the mortgage brokers are like, yeah, do they have any child benefit, this and that, and then they would include that as a like an earning type of thing, right? Like income, right? So I was like, oh, really? Right? But that's what it is. So now, if you make the money, they take it somewhere else. So what is the point of making more money, right? So it's kind of like, it feels like things are cornered here, right? So question number 5, why are sellers panicking now? Well, I think that there's more than one reason, obviously, but I think sellers are seeing for sale signs as well, right? And it might not have to be in their community per se, right? Or their neighborhood. However, it creeps up. You start walking and then you see a for sale sign, right? You start walking and then you see another for sale sign. So, and then another for sale sign, right? So this is what happens. It creeps up slowly but surely, and then it comes to your neighborhood, right? And then you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to compete with X, Y, and Z. And then you start to think about that. You're like, oh, listen, it is okay. Stop panicking. It's all good. It's all normal. And then you start explaining stuff to yourself. It is a normal activity. It's a normal process. You know, listings pick up in the beginning of a year. It's a spring market. It happens. Don't worry about it, right? And then you sit down with like-minded people like yourself, and everybody starts talking the same thing. You know, you have a home, a neighbor has a house, and you guys have the same mindset, and you guys start talking, right? And you know, you guys on the same playing field, and everything is fine until, you know, 1 year goes by and you didn't sell it, and then you relist, and then another year goes by and now your property is worth 100,000 less, and then you're still holding on, clinging to the old pricing, and then another year goes by, and then you get to 2025 and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do now, right? Like, I see some of the projects happening in my neighborhood. You know, some people are still, you know, developing new projects or whatever. But what's happening with the actual, with the actual sales, right? Because the counts of listings just skyrocketed. The news, the mainstream media is slowly heating up to this situation. Am I in trouble, right? So some people can hold on, some people unfortunately can, and it only takes 5 minutes to walk in any neighborhood anywhere really, and you'll hit a for sale sign. That's how it is. I didn't stage this walk. I know this area obviously, but you know, I didn't know. Like, I'm even surprised myself, and I'm walking for like, you know, 5-10 minutes, and I've seen like 5-6 for sale signs. Now, question number 6. So what's the takeaway? So look, the takeaway here, it is hard to summarize, but you know, some sellers cannot stay. That's just the truth. They cannot stay where they are, and the buyers cannot buy, because if they make more money, they take less home. It just feels like it. But they have to make more money in order to qualify for a bigger mortgage, right? So all of these things it's a paralyzed situation, and unfortunately it will not move forward until we get to that middle class, like the median level of population that make X amount of dollars, and they can qualify for an average home, right? We're not talking anything special. We're just talking average, because most people are okay with this. They want a house, and that's it. Like that's all they really care about. Like, right? Some people, if they earn more and have more, okay, good for them. God bless them. Let them go into more luxury, right? And we need that market as well. But it got to a point where things are just not simple. As And what, we walked for another 3 minutes? Check this out. There's another two, there's three for sale signs right here. I don't know if it's too far for you to see or not, but like, you know what I mean? So this is where the panic kind of sets in. So I really don't know what else to tell you, but the fact that now we are in that paralyzed market, and to be honest with you, I care what everybody says, and I do agree with most of the comments on my channel, and fine, like, you know what, you can have your own opinion, but if you think that your story or maybe your situation is different, then it is different. Good for you. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't, like, if you're doing fine, you're doing fine. God bless you, nothing wrong with that. But I just think that we're literally in that denial, fear mode. I made a video on that, like on my channel as well. You'll feel free to watch it. But you know, I just think like most people believe that we got to the normal market, and now they're seeing that the normal market is definitely not normal at all, and we're heading into maybe a fear stage. And these people that have to sell, trust me, they will sell for loss just to get out of it and kind of ease on their burdens, right? Because that's the biggest issue nowadays. So if you believe that somebody will benefit, truly benefit from this video, please share it to somebody. Like the video for the algorithm if you don't mind, please, and I'll see you in the next one.